everyone, welcome to Emmett's channel and welcome back to the Toolips tutorial. Today we're going to be creating our first web app. For this, we'll start by using the new web app method. This will create a project with a public directory and Toolips session. Toolips session brings Fullstack interactivity to Toolips. This is a Toolips extension, which means that adding this extension can be done manually and is entirely optional. Looking at our new project directory, we see the import of Toolips session, as well as the addition of files and session to our server extensions. Files comes from Toolips, but session is from Toolips session. It is important to remember that some of these constructors can in fact take arguments such as active routes for session, which will change what routes will work with the extension. By default, slash is included, so we will not have to do anything. We also have the addition of Toolips session to our project.toml file. Let's go ahead and get started on this new project. We'll begin by removing our Hello World defaults. Now we will create a new body component. Building Toolips web apps typically involves composing components into a body component. This is the approach we'll take today. A body is constructed just like any other Toolips component. With our body created, let's move on to filling it with new components. The first component here is a div. We will align our new div to center. These arguments are simply HTML properties. We can provide both pairs and keyword arguments infinitely. Here we will set another property using a pair. This is useful if the property has a dash in the name, for example. We of course do not actually need that property. Next, we're going to add a new heading. We will set the text to this new heading using the text argument. We'll follow this with the push method. With this method, we can push components into each other. We'll provide the body first, followed by the components that we wish to push. We will also do the same to put the heading in the div. Finally, we will write the body to the connection with write. Now we will start our development server. To do so, all we need to do is include dev.jl. Now navigating to our site yields the heading. Let's add more functionality to this. We'll start by adding a new button. We will make this button change the alignment of new div. Now we will add our button to our push call down here. As in the last tutorial, we'll update our server using route. Once again, this method takes our server, route path, and function. Our web page now has a button. It doesn't do anything though, so let's fix that. Toolips session provides the on method. This method takes a connection, a component, and an event. We'll provide our button, followed by the event name, click. We also need to provide a function. This is done with the do syntax, which will take a modifier. In this case, this will be a component modifier. To modify component properties, we use setIndex. We set the index to a pair. The key of the pair is our property, the value is the result. We will provide our div as the index to set and then change the align property. Our index could also be set by name as a string, such as new div. We will simply change the align property to right. Now if we click our button, then the alignment will change accordingly. We might also want to retrieve the current state of this property. To do this, we use a similar technique, but instead get the index. We'll check if the alignment is set to right. If the div is aligned right, we will want to align it back to center. We will once again align it using setIndex. If it is not aligned right, else we will align it back to center. If it is not aligned right, else we will align it back to right. We will reroute again, and now our button can change alignment back and forth. Now let's make this look a bit better with some styles. We can make styles both inline and using classes. Let's get familiar with how inline styling works. Inline styles are done using the style method. This method takes a component and a series of pairs. We will style our heading, changing the color of the heading to red. The properties we are changing are just CSS properties. Now we're going to change our alignment function to update the color. We will want to add a new property to track the color to our heading. Now we will get to restructuring our on's call to change the colors. Similar to before, we are going to check the color with a conditional statement using getIndex to check the values. However, this time things will be a little different as we are changing the style along with the color property. If the color is red, then we will set the color to blue using the style method. When styling with a modifier, we will need to provide the modifier before the component as the first positional argument. Other than that, the style method's arguments remain identical. We will also need to change the color property to our new color. Another thing we can do is set the transition style property. This will make a keyframe transition between our colors. We will set this to 5 seconds. The result is a web page where we can change the color of our text.